What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 83 and we're starting today's episode off by seeing that Roberto, the goal machine, Gutierrez, has hit 90 overall. Yep, his strength now up to 90, is finishing up to 95. You'll see his full range of stats on the screen for you here. This guy is just an absolute monster. I've given him the target man development plan, so what I really want to do is get the jumping and the heading up. That'll make him a complete striker. He's over 6 foot, so what I want to see him get is higher jumping and higher heading to make him more of a threat in the air, because you'll notice with Roberto, he doesn't actually score that many headers. He doesn't score that many aerial goals. That was the reason why Toney and Gutierrez, I think, complemented their games really, really well together as a partnership. Because I've mentioned before, if you haven't used Ivan Toney in this year's FIFA, guys, give him a go, because he is one of the best aerial strikers I've ever played with. I mean, seriously, as well. This guy, like, wins 90%, well, maybe not 90, but 80% of the aerial duels and gets a header on target. He's amazing, but Rob wasn't really known for doing that. He was more of a pacey, in behind the back line type of striker. If I can turn him into a striker that can also score when the balls are floated in from crosses, he will literally be unstoppable and a complete package. You see in the start of the season off, he's been setting them up. He's been offloading the balls pretty well. As a support striker, he can do that role as a complete forward, bringing teammates into play. But again, making him strong in the air, he'll be unstoppable. But 90 overall, Roberto Gutierrez, the first player in this series to hit 90. Isn't it just fitting? But this was not. This was the fairy tale opening to our Europa League campaign that I was looking for, that turned into a bit of a nightmare. Right before the break against Eddie Howe's Magpies, Newcastle United were in front at the San Siro. Fortunately for us, 5 minutes after the restart, we would level it. Timmermans, young Timmermans, the Belgian getting his first goal since joining AC Milan. Theo Hernandez storming down left-hand side, cutting it back, and there is the teenage talent with a simple finish from close range. But in the end, we had to settle for a 1-1 draw. But I did talk about it when the group was drawn a couple episodes ago. Newcastle United, they're a really good team. Like, they've developed into a really, really good team as the seasons have gone by in this career mode. You look at the side, they've got their Tuanzebe, our former centre-half, as part of their back line, but really, really decent team, no doubt about it. I think they're a 5-star, if not 5-star, 4.5-star team, so I guess I wasn't too shocked, but I wanted to start off our Europa League campaign at home, in front of our home fans, with a big win in the end, having to settle for the draw, not exactly the dream beginning I was hoping for in Europe. And that's why for the following game here, Stadio Olimpico, Roma away from home, hoping to bounce back with a big win here and keep our good start in the Serie A going. 11 minutes in, well, it's safe to say this guy is already looking like he could transition to become a winger and an inside forward pretty easily, regardless of what the game thinks. Moise Keane's second goal of the season already makes it Roma 0, Milan 1, but the hosts almost back on level terms in what was a really tense and cagey affair, to be fair. Not too many chances in this game. A good stop by Michael at the near post kept it at 1-0, and then 7 minutes later, coming on the break, Tielemans finds Gutierrez. Look at the ball control to beat Spinazzola. This was brilliant. And like I said, for Roberto, the one thing he hasn't got is a game in the air, but when the ball is at his feet, he is literally magical. 5-star, 5-star. His dribbling ability is just second to none as a striker. And the finish to match as well. The way he got the ball out of his feet after it was fizzed into him. And then to beat 2 Roma players and smack it in near post with the weaker left foot as well. Like I told you, the complete forward deserving of a 90 overall rating. Keane in the first half, Gutierrez in the second. Roma 0, AC Milan 2, and a win at the Stadio Olimpico. Dominated possession in this game. Didn't get that many chances, but you would have seen heading into the game, I decided to play a 4-3-3 holding in that game. So we had Goretzka and Tielemans as CMs, as 2 experienced CM duos, and then Sandro Tonali sitting deeper as the holding mid. I think you'll see a lot of that this season. Now, the one thing that I do often get criticised for, and I'm more than willing to accept it as well, is I don't rotate my team as much as I possibly could do. And in terms of tactics, once I find a formation and a system that I like with the 5-2-3/3-5-2 with Brentford, I often just stick with it and, play it forever. But with Milan, in our first season, as it's a rebuild season and we want to find our identity, I'm happy to switch things around a little bit at times as well. I played the 4-3-3 in that game, and I think it worked out really well, especially in terms of keeping hold of the ball. So, yeah, big win there. And then following that, Cagliari at home, San Siro, 5 in 5 for Roberto, stepping out of the shadow of Ivan Toney to become the star and captain here at AC Milan. It's safe to say there's no adjustment period needed for Roberto. He's off to a red hot start already, and again, what I'm really liking as well is that right before the break here, as he offloads to Sailmakers for the second time in his first half here, he really should have braced the Belgians while we're finishing really, really poor. He's not just looking to be an out-and-out goal scorer who all he wants to do is put the ball in the back of the net, but instead, you'll notice in the highlights, I'm offloading the ball with him very, very frequently, and 79 minutes in, well, we were leading by a goal. We'd been a far better team throughout the game. I always say I don't feel comfortable leading by one. I always want a second and a cushion, and we get it. Timmermans is second of the season, but it was a really poor goal as well. I showed respect with the celebration because that was just such a really unlucky goal for Cagliari to concede. Would it have gone in without the deflection? Absolutely no chance. We'll take it. It's Timmermans who claims it. 2-0, the final score, AC Milan. So to start the season off, it's been a good campaign. 4 wins in our first 5 games. We are level on points with our great rivals Inter and also Napoli as well. But right behind us, Lazio and the team that won the title last year, Juventus. And so for our following game, travelling to Turin for this one, really excited for our first battle with the old lady in the series so far. Very excited to see, as we're the new kids on the block now, despite being Italian giants. We are the new kids now with the rebuild here of AC Milan, but these guys have been dominating Italian football for the best part of a decade. Back on top, it seems, in the Serie A after winning the title last season, Juve away, and the biggest test to start the season off. The question was, how would we fare against the champions? Well, 12 minutes in, I was already up against it. A red hot start in the Serie A, still undefeated in our first 5, but Juve had the early chances. First, Paolo Dybala denied by a great save by Mike, but after a rebound fell to Locatelli, I just couldn't get the ball clear. A quick little offload saw Goncalo Guedes receive the ball and slot it past our French number 16 and give Juve the lead. And I was thinking, okay, I can see why these guys are champions, because already I'm struggling so soon on into the game. So after that, I needed some breathing room. I needed a foothold. We finally got it. And 32 minutes into the game, oh god, this guy is just so cool. He's just so composed, running through one-on-one with the Polish goalkeeper Szczesny. You know, I barely round the goalkeeper anymore on FIFA because it's become harder to do as the years have gone by. But when I do pull it off, and it is quite rare, it looks so cool. Sit down, Szczesny. See you later, mate. Nice little finish into the unguarded net after the ball roll as well. Roberto, 6th in 6, makes it Juventus 1, Milan 1. Whilst we were back on level terms, don't think for a second momentum was going to change, because it really wasn't. It was all Juventus. They had the ball in the back of the net just a few minutes later. A great save by Mike, saw the rebound turned in, but thankfully for us, the offside flag was raised. And it was the right decision as well. But to be honest, despite finding a leveller, momentum never switched like it often does in FIFA, and instead, Juve just continued to dominate. I was always second best in my 50-50 duels. The deflections just kept coming back to Juve, and 8 minutes after the restart, we conceded a really, really scrappy goal. Paulo Dybala makes it 2-1, restores the lead for the hosts. It was just such an awful goal to concede as well. So scrappy, so poor. I wanted strong defence, and I needed strong defence in this game, but this was nothing other than that. What on earth is going on there? For Tonali and Kabak, one of you mark Dybala. He's all alone. They both just left him standing there. A simple header for the Argentine, and Juve are back in front. So 2-1. Whilst I can be frustrated about the lack of AI marking in the game, fact of the matter is I was just second best. Juve the far better team, and as Dybala thread through Goncalo Guedes, they are having a stormer against me in this game. 69 minutes in, Juve grabbed themselves a 2-goal cushion and went 3-1 up, and that was how the game would finish in Turin. Okay, that's the rude awakening I knew I was going to get at some point. You know, first few games into the season, undefeated, in second place, really good start. Only 1 goal conceded, and then bang, welcome to the Serie A, Doxy boy. Juve have been the best team in Italian football for the best part of a decade, and they've just proved it in Turin. Our first loss as AC Milan manager comes at the hands of the old lady, but I'm not one bit surprised. If we are to become the best team in Italy, Juve are the team that are going to try and stop us from doing that. I'd say Juve and Inter, for the most part, they're the teams that I'm most concerned about. I know Atalanta finished second place last season, but a tough start for them, just 2 wins in our first 6 games this season. Yeah, Juve and Inter, I think they're the 2 teams I believe this season we're battling with for that title. Look, it's only 1 defeat in our first 6 games. I'm not going to hit a panic button, no doubt about that, but it is worth pointing out, as I've been mentioning it, this is a rebuild project with AC Milan. No one expected us to dominate the Serie A in the first season, and that game against Juve there proves it. We got a 5-star team. We are not the best team in this division. Not yet, anyway. Still, for the final game of today's episode, I was really excited for this one, man. I could not wait. Europa League Match Day 2. First away night in Europe on Thursday night. Who does it come against? Dundalk, away in Ireland. Really, really excited for it. Rotating most of my side in a loss against Juventus there, and gave some of my fringe players some chances in this one, or bench players I should say, and we had a red hot start to the game, putting the pressure on the Irish side straight away. Really, we should have been 2 goals up in the opening 20 minutes. Sailmakers had 2 golden chances, but I somehow missed them both. But it was like a training exercise. Once Dundalk got the ball back, they seemed to just give it away straight away, and again we were on the offensive, and 27 minutes in, after missing a couple of golden chances, finally Sailmakers gets it right, steps in from the left hand side and bends it in to the far corner to give us the lead away in Ireland. Dundalk 0, Milan 1. With no disrespect to the Irish team whatsoever, I felt for sure we'd be the firm favourites in this game, and like I said in the first half, it was just all AC Milan, really. We should have been 3 goals up at this point, still only leading by 1. I wanted a second, and 43 minutes in we had a chance to get it. Sailmakers holds it up, rolls it across to Scamacca, and for his first appearance as an AC Milan player, our number 91 gets goal number 1 at the well, not at the San Siro, but for his new club, AC Milan. Dundalk 0, AC Milan 2. He won't get much game time this season. He'll have to know his great camera angle, by the way. He'll have to know his role as a bench striker for Roberto Gutierrez, but he's all I could ask for. In these sort of games here where I need to give Roberto a breather, just do your job. Scamacca definitely did that. Got our second goal in what was in the end a very routine victory away in Ireland. Final score, Dundalk 0, AC Milan 2. And there we go. We are back to winning ways and off the mark against the Irish side in our second game in the Europa League group stage. However, after that rude awakening versus Juventus, we know for sure it is going to be a tough and grueling season. But again, I wouldn't have it any other way. Bring on the challenge. I cannot wait to continue this long-term project. But that will end today's episode of Career Mode, guys. Massive thank you for watching. Hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.